Everyone, welcome back to the live stream this week. For this week, I'm actually going to do a few things a little bit different. This will be a much more, I guess, discussion focused live stream because I actually only have 8 trivia questions for this week, so I'm wanting to do a bit more of discussion. So without further, I guess, and actually also at the beginning of this one, I want you guys, we'll do an early Q&A and then I'll get to the news because some people, they get here like 5 to 10 minutes later. So ask any questions you have right now and then I'll go into the news in about 5 minutes. Just because some people, like I said, it takes them like 5 to 10 minutes before they come. So I don't want to start too early with that. So ask any questions you have right now. I I just have to make sure if I have the volume off here. Looks like I do. For a moment, I thought my computer had the volume on, and it was like, I don't want to have that. How does Iron Gwazi look? It looks absolutely amazing. I'll actually talk about when I think these rides are gonna open next year. These, I mean, not next year, but these new for 2020 rides. When some of them are gonna open, I'm gonna be talking about that later in the stream. It looks absolutely amazing. But Velocicoaster is also looking really good. So I don't even know if Iron Gwazi will be the best coaster in Florida for that long, if I have to be completely honest. It's pretty crazy. Theme Park Horizons, I believe, did a really good video on Velocicoaster, like kind of explaining why it was going to be a really insane ride. So, yeah. What are my thoughts about mountain coasters? Like alpine coasters? I haven't ridden one yet, but I would probably consider them coaster credits because why not? The only thing is, like, the longest one I would not consider to be the longest roller coaster in the world. So, like, things like that. I think those rides would kind of be exempt from, like, world records. But I would probably consider them roller coaster credits if that's what you're asking. But I haven't ridden one yet. So yeah. Did I see the Orion POV that everyone uploaded? Usually I'm in on that, but this year, I mean, not this year, but this time around, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll just kind of hold off. Um, just because I'm trying to not become as much of an actual, like, news channel making news videos. It's not really very interesting to me, and POVs, I kind of feel the same way about that at this point, even though they do tend to give me a bunch of views, but I just don't feel like doing it. The Orion POV, Orion looks really good. Didn't really surprise me in any way in the POV, but it didn't disappoint me either. So it looks really good. Could honestly be the best coaster of 2020 at this point because some of the other attractions. Really, the only other rides that I could see topping it is maybe Candemonium, and I'll get to that later actually when I talk about the coasters that I think are going to open this year and next year because I am really wanting to talk about that. Alrighty, so you got 4 subs from uploading it. Well, I mean, yeah, sometimes you get a bunch and sometimes you don't get too much, so it's what it is. The only thing is that I don't know if it seems like those people who watch and subscribe just because of the POVs don't tend to like stick, and that's also kind of why like stick as in they don't seem to really be new consistent viewers. I mean, I have a decent amount of subscribers from the Netherlands just because I put out that Untamed POV like pretty much before anyone else did, and they're not really watching my stuff, so that's kind of why I stopped doing that. I feel like Iron Gwazi is being a bit overhyped. It's still gonna be amazing though. I don't think so. I mean, the pacing when we saw it testing, it looked literally insane. Like it looked like it had the best pacing of any RMC outside of the Raptors. So honestly, this ride, Iron Gwazi, could honestly really be a contender. It might really be a contender for the best coaster in the entire world, and Velocicoaster, it might be up there too. We'll just have to wait and see with how that thing runs. But Velocicoaster, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to be one of the absolute best coasters in the entire world. Like, not even kidding at all. The problem I have with Iron Gwazi is the lack of actual elements. I think I said a while back that during one of my Q&A videos that since it didn't have as many airtime moments, I figured I'd probably still prefer Steel Vengeance over it. But if this thing is absolutely hauling and the airtime strength is like literally insane, then I think I could prefer it over Steel Vengeance because really a short ride doesn't bother me um, that much. It just the if the pacing's good and pretty much the whole ride is excellent, then it can be one of my favorite coasters. I just the ending, I don't know about it. We'll just kind of have to wait and see on that because one of my favorite rides that's also really short is Railblazer, and the reason it's not higher for me on my overall rankings, it's at my number 10, is because the ending, I just don't think it's that great. The corkscrew is fine. The cutback is by far the weakest element on the ride. The turn's pretty intense. And the final pop of airtime you get heading into the brake run is pretty good, but it's just not as memorable as like the other parts of the ride, especially the first drop or the dive loop or the off-axis airtime hill. It's just not really as good as those moments. It kind of dies in the second half, in my opinion. But it's still a really good ride. Would highly recommend it, obviously. Let's see what else we got here. Do I think that I will be able to ride Candemonium in the near future? I don't think I'm going to be riding it, to be honest, for probably at least a year or more. And I think even a year is really generous. Actually, I would not promise that at all because I have no plans to go there anytime soon. But you never know. Um, no, I don't think I will write it anytime. Like, definitely not this year, anyways. And we actually, Storm Runner, that ride is going to be done, closed for the entire season, which sucks. That was just announced yesterday, I believe. You can look on their website. That is one of the news things I was going to talk about. But pretty sad. But that's, I guess, just what happens. Nice shirt, thank you. It's a roller coaster shirt. The words, if it like basically if you were I guess in a vertical loop or just in any inversion, they would they're upside the words are upside down on the shirt, but if you were going through an inversion, they would be not upside down. My aunt got it for me, and it's a really nice shirt. Haven't worn it at a park though because I've usually had my Cedar Point one available to me ever since I got that shirt. So that's the one I usually wear to parks, right? At least for my last few visits. I could see Pantheon and Busch Gardens Williamsburg opening in August. Yeah, I'll talk about that. Busch Gardens Williamsburg in August. Honestly, I'm a little skeptical, but it could happen. Pantheon, I can't see it. They haven't even finished with everything from what I've heard. So let's see what else. Iron Gwazi will be worse than if it opened earlier because it's just sitting there. I mean, it's like I'll go over it in a sec. After I go over the news, it's probably going to be like one of the first things I talk about after we get through our first set of trivia. Which, if you weren't here earlier, only two sets of trivia questions today, but both of them are about coasters and parks. So this will be a much more of a discussion, I think, episode or live stream than yeah. They would be not upside down, yeah. That was probably not the best explanation of that shirt, but I was trying. When Kings Island announced Orion will be coming this year, people started to trash talk about it. Yeah, people were disappointed because it wasn't exactly like, I mean, it wasn't bigger, taller, faster, and in most people's eyes better than Fury 325, so that's probably why. That's probably because of where they placed the camera. Uh, Oh, because of the rattle? Yeah, no, that's just because of how they mounted the camera. That happens with there's a bunch of coasters where it's literally like really smooth and the ride the camera it was just not mounted on like the best or correctly, so it's a little shaky. So that's probably what happened. I highly doubt Orion has a rattle. Although if it does, that would be kind of, I mean, it would be sad, obviously, but it'd be kind of funny considering Banshee, which is one of the newer B&Ms in North America, has a rattle. So at least, well, certain days it runs better is what I hear, but a lot of people complain about its rattle. So hopefully Orion doesn't have that. That would be pretty unfortunate. Let's see. I will be writing, oh nice, you're writing Candemonium this coming Wednesday, July 1st. which is a season pass holders only day at Hershey Park. Okay, so I'm trying to get a Candemonium analysis and Chocolate Town analysis out. I honestly don't know if it'll come out before opening, which that probably isn't the best if it doesn't. But because it has Chocolate Town and certain aspects of it are not going to be open, I think it'll be still good. There's just I kind of tried to rush when I realized that Candemonium's opening was like sooner than I was like originally thinking it was. I just kind of fell asleep on it, and then pretty much I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna try to make this, and it might be a little late, but that'll be the next video that'll come out. Probably before next week's live stream. Very sure I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out before then. But I've been working on that lately. Let's see what else. You're 10 minutes late. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna go start with the news of that's been happening this week. We've had a decent amount of news this week, and two things that are really big actually. But before we get to those, oh, and also reopening dates. I have the link for that in the description. I'm not really gonna go over reopening dates. I haven't been doing that for the past few weeks just because it gets a little repetitive. So with that being said, let's get into this. So Kennywood is canceling their Halloween event, Phantom Fright Nights, for 2020. Really sad. I believe this is the second major Halloween event that's been canceled this year. The first one being Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So definitely not a good sign for other Halloween events. Pretty unfortunate, but kind of to be expected, I guess, at this point. Spaceship Earth, which was supposed to be under refurbishment for like 2 years, I guess after May something, or I think around May. It was supposed to close this May, and it was supposed to go under 2 years of refurbishment. That is being put on hold, and Spaceship Earth will reopen with Epcot. And honestly, I would not be surprised if it's years before they actually get to that refurbishment, just with how things are going. It seems that every amusement or theme park in Sweden will have to stay closed for the summer because the parks are not allowed to have more than 50 guests at a time, which is pretty ridiculous if I have to be completely honest. Like, because they're opening up beaches and other attractions that would be far more of a hazard. But for whatever reason, parks, they just cannot profit of when they're having like 50 guests at a time. So pretty unfortunate. The only park that I know of that is actually open is Kolmarden because they are a zoo and they can have a higher capacity than that. But in their ride areas, they are only allowed to have 50 people, which I think still works out because for a ride like Wildfire, it's just one ride. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that they only are allowed to have 50 people in there. So yeah. Yeah, Arnold's Park did reopen. I didn't include that on here, but that would be a reopening that's more major because it obviously reopened, closed, and now is reopened. So yeah. So unfortunate for the parks in Sweden though that they're pretty much not going to be able to reopen this summer. I'm just a little surprised because, like I said, people can go to beaches, but they cannot go to parks. That just seems very, very odd to me. But that's just kind of how things are there. Sylvan Beach Park in New York. That park will be closed for all of 2020. It's a smaller park. They only have one coaster, which is Galaxy, which is an SDC Cyclone. So nothing really major, but another small park that will not reopen this year. So also kind of sad. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and Kings Island, do not expect them to reopen before August. They may not reopen at all in the summer is what I'm starting to hear, just because of the capacity. They were allowed to reopen, but they could only have like 1,000 guests or something. And did I say Kings Island? Oh, yeah, Kings Dominion. They're not Kings Island. I don't know why I wrote that. Yes, Kings Dominion. Kings Island will reopen. Yeah, I had that typed out. Yes, that would be why. But anyways, well, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and Kings Island. The capacity for Virginia parks is about 1,000 people. They want it to be about 5,000 to 6,000. So it's looking a bit grim for it. No, Kings Island is will be opening very soon, which that's exciting because of the Orion POV which released. That is another bit of news that we mentioned earlier. The Orion POV has released, and the ride looks really good. Theme parks in the UK, they are allowed to reopen on July 4th. Water parks are not allowed. I guess that makes sense. Pitt Special, this is a new Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster at PowerLand, has opened. And the ride seems like it has the same color scheme as Junker, which is just kind of crazy. And the name Pitt Special is literally just awful. I cannot believe they actually went with that. And we didn't know, like, it's crazy. They announced that the ride was opening on the same day they announced its name, which was also the same day that it opened. It's just like, well, their marketing was basically non-existent for Pitt Special. Absolutely insane. But this ride, it is a new Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. At least that is what the ride model is to my knowledge. Because of the pacing, it appears that it's more of a maybe a higher family throwing coaster. That's not the best way to say it. More like I guess it's I think on the more thrilling side for a family coaster is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So maybe something along the lines of like Cheetah Hunt or something like that. I think that's kind of what this ride is kind of similar to, and like I guess it's intensity and overall ride experience. It has some similarities with it, I guess. The one element that's really weird after the first drop kind of reminds me of the turnaround to a certain extent. But it's a pretty cool looking coaster. But a little disappointing that's running slower than we were expecting, or at least I was expecting. Another coaster that opened this week was Hals-Über Kopf. This is the Vekoma STC. Tripsdrill and also their Vekoma family Boomerang have opened, so that's pretty cool. POVs for those have come out. Max and Moritz, the dueling Mack powered coaster at Efteling has opened as well. And also I have links to like I think all of these in the description down below, so if you want to check out like these articles or POVs, you can do that. I have put them in the description for the majority of these. So yeah. The Gotham City area, which was closed when it came out with, when Six Flags Over Georgia reopened, will reopen on June 29th, but it will be without Mindbender, which will be closed until 2021, which is pretty sad, but at this point it's, I think, pretty well known that's what's going to happen. And of course, I mentioned this earlier, but Storm Runner at Hershey Park will be closed for the entire 2020 season, which is pretty sad. They couldn't do maintenance on it during the off season. I believe that was what has been thrown around. But yeah, Storm Runner will not open at all this year. So if you want to experience the ultimate Hershey Park top 3, in my opinion, you're going to have to wait till 2021, which is unfortunate. But I guess it's just kind of how it is. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, they are reopening as the Marine World Experience and will only have their animal exhibits open starting on July 2nd. So I guess this is technically the first major California park to reopen. Belmont Park, I believe, was the first to reopen, but they shut it down pretty recently, actually, because it was, I guess, not allowed to reopen. So the city actually shut it down. I didn't even have that written on here, but I remember reading about it. But yeah, Discovery Kingdom will only reopen with their animal exhibits starting on July 2nd. That is kind of weird. I mean, I guess I kind of understand why they're doing it. But in my opinion, their animal exhibits do need to be updated. So definitely not something I would go to. That's for sure. So, and another park, Disneyland, they will not reopen on July 17th. And they will be delayed again. Their opening will be delayed again. We don't know exactly when they're going to reopen, which is also unfortunate. Actually, this is pretty big. This is one of those big things I was talking about. It is pretty much confirmed that for 2021, SeaWorld Orlando was supposed to get a custom B&M launch coaster, which likely means that this is the surf coaster is a launch concept. So That's pretty interesting. Some people suggested it. In fact, I actually think it's and I believe Coaster Josh and a few others mentioned this in videos in the past, way before like this lean came out, which pretty much confirmed that uh, that SeaWorld Orlando was getting a B&M launch coaster because that's how we found out there was a lean. Um, but Coaster Josh, he mentioned how the Ocean Park concept art coaster might be the surf coaster, and honestly, I'm thinking that's probably what it is. I have a link in the description, but actually, I guess I'll put that here in the chat because why not? He I think just released a video on it too. Um, like right before, like how it got confirmed, like right before the stream. But yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, the surf coaster. It looks like it is a launch coaster concept, which is pretty exciting. Might be kind of like their take on an Intamin Blitz, which would be really awesome. I would definitely love to see that. I would love to see them do something actually pretty unique and interesting for once, at least for them, because of course in recent years they've been mostly doing the same sort of thing. Of course, they've been improving their rides, but new models always exciting. And for the big, one of the biggest things, Disney World and Disneyland, their Splash Mountain is both of their Splash Mountain rides are going to be rethemed to Princess and the Frog. This has been planned for over a year because I know there's been some news articles that have been trying to say that this has to do with like petitions that have been going on within the past few months or weeks. This has been rumored for like over 3 years that this would happen, and it's been planned for over a year, so that's not accurate one bit. And also, I did email the Park Disneyland because I actually do want to get final rides for Splash Mountain if possible. And they did tell me that they will be providing final rides for both versions, which is good. They didn't give me anything very specific, but they did say that there will be re-rides. There will be a chance to get final rides. Obviously, I mean, for me, with this announcement, there's some good things I think here. I've always thought that the Princess and the Frog doing a ride based off that made a lot of sense. I actually almost mentioned it in my Q&A video back when someone asked what if I had a theme or had characters, what theme park would I create? I said I would create my own Disney park, and I had threw a few ideas out there. And Princess and the Frog was one of the ones I was thinking of, but in the end, I didn't do it because I saw there was like a bunch of rumors. Like I said, this has been rumored for a long time that they would either do a ride or do a Splash Mountain retheme. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see that they're actually doing this. I'm very curious to ride it and see how the ride is for myself. The one at Tokyo Disney Sea is still gonna stay the same, and so yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see how this new ride experience is. Um, so I gotta get water. I've been like stuttering. I just realized I'm probably a little dehydrated. Yeah, I meant Tokyo Disneyland. Yes, not Disney Sea. My bad. Tokyo Disneyland has Splash Mountain. I always think of Disney Sea when I think of that resort. So, yeah. I mean, obviously there's gonna be a mixed reaction. I think they kind of like the reason why they did it. It makes a lot of sense. The ride was based off a controversial movie, and I think they want the rides like, you've been seeing it with the, I guess, with the you've been seeing it with Tower of Terror at California Adventure. They themed it to Guardians, which is a much more relevant movie and is actually their property, where Twilight Zone isn't really their property. California Screamin', you really haven't seen, I guess. It was its own theme, something they created, and then they rethemed it to Incredicoaster, Incredibles, obviously. A more relevant movie, and obviously Splash Mountain, which was themed off of, or based off of, Song of the South, which is a controversial movie that Disney created that they have not re-released in like I think 20, 30 years, something crazy like that. Yeah, it didn't really have a theme, but it was like its own thing. You could say that about the whole section. But anyways, uh, now you see that they're doing retheming Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog. It's not an absolute hit of a movie, but it's definitely a movie that I know a lot of people know about. It's definitely not obscure, and I think they want people to kind of tie back their rides to the movies, so it makes a lot of sense. Oh, we got Theme Park Media. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. You want Hollywood Studios to get Frozen Land. I know Hong Kong Disneyland's getting that, which is pretty cool. You know, my thoughts on the Frozen franchise. I used to, when I was a lot younger, I really did not like the first movie. Over time, I mean, I think it's fine. It's not really anything that amazing in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people like it, and I can definitely understand why they would. So I would, I could definitely see that. I think it could make for a pretty cool area. That's for sure. The second movie, I just thought it was a little forgettable. I didn't really, I guess, care for the second movie that much. But I've only seen it once, and I saw it on Disney Plus actually. I never even saw it in theaters, so yeah. But it is cool that at least Hong Kong Disneyland's getting it. Hollywood Studios, I think it would make sense if they were to put it there. However, Epcot already has the Frozen ride, so uh, maybe not. We'll see. But that would be something interesting for sure. Tobu Tobu Zoo looks cool. I'm supposed to. I think that's what you're trying to say. Um, Not really. The park does not look that great. Not at all. A lot of people do not like Frozen, or at least some people do not like Frozen. Uh, but I think it's good. I think it's fine. Um, yeah, I know a lot of people, of course, love the songs, and not really into them too much. But I once again I can understand why. If you like it, I can understand why it's your thing. Tobu Zoo looks awful, is what I meant. Yeah, it does not look like a great park. I hope Kawasemi gets relocated to another park. Hopefully to somewhere else in Japan where they can operate it better. I know some people are like relocated to the U.S. You know, we already have enough really good coasters. I think that one should stay. If they can just relocate it and give it a new or refurbish the cable lift system. Yeah, I don't know why I'm stuttering so much today. Maybe I'm a little tired. But yeah. Will Great America open this year? California's Great America. I would think so. At least I hope so. But I'm not entirely sure on that. I'm not in the loop, I guess, on those Northern California parks. So yeah. Tokyo Disneyland also looks awful. It doesn't look awful. It looks like a really good park if you looked at it on its own. It's just for me, it's definitely a park I'd probably only spend like a half day at if I was in Tokyo. I would do probably 1.5 days at Tokyo Disney Sea and then half a day at Tokyo Disneyland just to do like their unique rides. So that's just kind of how I feel about the park. All right, so now I'm gonna get to trivia. I'm actually pretty late on that. I just looked at the time. So I'll be doing my first set of trivia questions. This will be about coasters and parks around the world. So with that said, let's get started. So for my first question, I have, what is the name of the oldest operating roller coaster in the Netherlands? I'll say that again. What is the name of the oldest operating roller coaster in the Netherlands? This might be the hardest question I have on here. Yikes! Actually, that might have been what I made too hard. The other ones are quite a bit easier for this first set, but we'll see if any of you get it. Rushmanon, no, not quite. Vogel Rock, nope. Not Python. Joris and the Drac, definitely not. Untamed, yeah, definitely. No, it's not. Um, that's probably their newest at this point. Unless I'm actually there probably is a newer one that I'm forgetting about. Roller coaster, nope. Yeah, I think I this one's a little hard because it's not a normal name. Eric Thomason got it right. It is Rotobahn, and this is a steel kiddie coaster that opened in 1930, and it's at a park called De Warbeek. I probably totally butchered that, but this park, they have not added a new roller coaster since that one ride. They haven't had any others beside it. And the closest they've gotten is they actually opened a powered coaster this year called Goldmine Express, which is said to be pretty terrible from what I've heard. But the park, it's actually temporary, so it's gonna leave in October. So it's not even like a permanent ride, so it's just kind of sad. They haven't gotten a roller coaster in like 90 years basically, and the closest thing they get, they're not even gonna keep it, so it's just kind of sad. Yep, 1930 steel coaster. The oldest one is Montaña Suiza. I mentioned this way in like I think one of the earlier streams, not earlier, but one of the last ones, last few ones, I guess. That one was opened in 1928, so that's pretty crazy. And that ride is said to give really good views, so pretty interesting ride. All right, so for my second question, I have, what is the name of the oldest operating bobsled coaster? I'll say that again. What is the name of the oldest operating bobsled coaster? So this one I think will be a lot more forgiving. Bobsled coaster. Matterhorn is not considered that. All right, Coaster Roaster got it right. It is La Vibora at Six Flags Over Texas. I would have also taken Sarajevo bobsleds because this ride, it actually originally opened in 1984 at Six Flags Magic Mountain before it moved to Six Flags Over Texas in, I believe, 1986. I didn't write it down, but I'm just, from what I remember, I believe that was the year that it got relocated. All right, so for my third question, this is, what city is Premier Rides headquartered or based in? I'll say that again. What city is Premier Rides headquartered or based in? Um, so, gosh dang it, I did not. I may have made some of these too easy. Coaster Roaster got it right. It is Baltimore. And also Matthew's Coaster Vids got it right. It's Baltimore. So Premier Rides is based in Baltimore. I was thinking of doing the year it was founded in, but there's like conflicting things on that because RCDB says something different than the actual company's website, and so does Wikipedia. So it's like, I don't know what I was going to go off of, and people are probably going to be mad at me if I went with one answer, even though there's something else that's saying it was founded a different year. So that's why I didn't do that. It's like, I think between 1994 and 1995, it's like what it's like, what it's on, like one site it's 1995 and on another thing it's 1994. So pretty crazy. So for my fourth question, this is a bit of a longer question, so I'll probably say this one multiple times. But anyways, 10 roller coasters share the record for having the shortest recorded track length of any coaster, all of which are the same model known as the Kiddie Racer. Who manufactured the Kiddie Racer? I'll say that again. 10 roller coasters share the record for having the shortest recorded track length of any roller coaster, all of which are the same model known as the Kiddie Racer. Who manufactured the Kiddie Racer? So this is going to be, oh man, okay. Yeah, these I did not make hard enough at all. Eric Thomason and 808 Coaster Life both got it right at about the same time. It is Gerstlauer. They built it in this ride. The Kiddie Racer is only 75.5 feet long. So, yeah, shortest recorded track length of any coaster in the entire world, and there's 10 of them. So that's pretty crazy. And Dumpster Coasters also got Gerstlauer. So, yeah, trivia is hard. I guess the last three people seem to get pretty easy. I figured the second one was probably a gimme. I did not think 3 and 4 were going to be that easy for you guys. Alright, so I guess I'll go into like talking about like the first thing I wanted to talk about. Actually, let's see, what do I... Yeah, I'll just go into which coasters will open or not. my what I think is going to happen. So what we already have so far, I guess in terms of U.S. coasters or North American coasters, I should say, Texas Stingray is open. West Coast Racers is open. Orion is opening on June 2nd. So, yep. Candemonium is opening July 3rd, although it's earlier to pass holders. So, some of the dates might be slightly off, but pretty close to around there. South Dakota RMC Raptor delayed until 2021. That is confirmed. Didn't share this, but Aquaman Power Wave, it's pretty likely that's getting delayed until 2021 because it was taken off the website, and I believe they took the track to another facility to be put in storage for now. So that's, I think, the status on Aquaman Power Wave. The pair has also been taken off the website, so I just also put that it's delayed until 2021. The pair at La Ronde and Sidewinder Safari is also delayed until 2021. This has been confirmed for a good while, and it's obviously been taken off the website. So for me, let's see if you guys have anything to say. Okay. You guys can say when you think the coasters are going to open because I'm curious. But for me, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. Iron Gwazi, I am still going to say it's going to open in September. It is nearly done, and I just feel like I cannot see Busch Gardens Tampa. This is the day that they're apparently shooting for, and I cannot see them like having Iron Gwazi sit for, especially since it's a year-round park. I cannot see Busch Gardens Tampa have Iron Gwazi sit for like until 2021, like spring or summer 2021. That would be pretty crazy. I just cannot see that. So I'm just gonna guess that it's going to still open in September, but who knows? If not September, I could see a winter 2020/2021 opening. Pantheon, I'm pretty sure this one's getting delayed until 2021. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is at best probably going to open in August unless something crazy happens. And I don't even think they're done with like Pantheon Station and a lot of different things. The track work's done, but I don't believe it's tested, so I'm just going to say delayed until 2021. Jersey Devil Coaster, I'm also going to say delayed until 2021. Yes, they are reopening on like I think next week actually, or pretty close to that. But there has basically been like no construction for like at least over a month, and the track work isn't even complete. So I'm just gonna say delayed until 2021. However, it is worth saying that it is still on the website, so maybe there's still a chance. Icebreaker, this is tough. I'm going to predict it will get delayed until 2021. However, I could see a winter opening at this point. Like, I could totally see them kind of marketing it because it's Icebreaker, you know, around winter. They could probably get away with doing that. So they could maybe open it near winter break for, I guess, when most kids are out of school. I could see that happening, but I'm still going to guess delayed until 2021 for Icebreaker. The only thing is there, it's also year-round park, so who knows. But that's just my prediction for Icebreaker. Emperor, this is also one I could see a winter opening for because SeaWorld San Diego, another year-round park, but I'm just going to guess delayed until 2021 because there's a lawsuit. Not even just a lien, like an actual lawsuit from what I understand. And there hasn't been tests in months, so yeah. Primordial, this is definitely delayed until 2021. There's so much more construction to go, so that's going to be delayed for sure. Sandy's Blasting Bronco, I'm predicting it'll open in 2020. If the park opens, it'll open is basically what I think. As long as the park's open for more than like a week or two, I think it'll open. And Velocicoaster, because some people are actually thinking that this ride may open in 2020. I'm going to say 2021. I don't understand why some people actually think this ride's going to open in late 2020. It's not happening. Yeah. So those are for the North American coasters. Let's see what you guys have to say. Kitty Racer clones over Iron Gwazi. Kitty coasters are great for families. They're great for getting younger kids into coasters. For the most part, I agree. Yeah, Coast Rider shin guards are terrible. Yes, they are awful. Um, Absolutely atrocious. Um, I've already went on about that enough. In one of my other streams, maybe even multiple at this point. I think Skyrush will be open in July. Is it not opening with the park? Well, oh wait, yeah, July's next month. I keep because we're in June. I thought of that. Is there an opening date for Sandy's Blasting Bronco? I do not believe there's an official one. My guess is it's just gonna open like with the park if it opens in 2020, which I think it will because it's year round. So, uh, who knows if Nickelodeon Universe will even reopen? I think it will. I know there's a lot of like um, things that are going on there, but I think it'll reopen. Let's see. I wonder what the status is of Dragonspire given the current status of Pantheon. Honestly, I hope they didn't pay for anything yet and it just gets completely scrapped because that idea is just terrible in my opinion. The ride will be cool, I guess, if it actually gets made, but it's just kind of like, especially for good Busch Gardens Williamsburg, it doesn't make any sense. Pretty lame way to get a Giga, in my opinion, if you would even consider it that. Lightning Rod is always broken down. I thought they got better over like the past few, I guess the past year. I thought they fixed most of the downtime issues. Let's see. Oh, not anytime soon because it is indoors. That is a good point, but it is a year-round park, so I could still see Nickelodeon Universe happening. If I have not played Planet Coaster, so yeah. Let's see. Is Kings Island opening in July? Yes, yes it is. Coast Rider over Accelerator, definitely not. Kings Island, July 2nd, yep. See you, Dumpster Coasters. Um, Good to have you here. So, yeah. Sorry, trying to transition from thing to thing is a little crazy. July 2nd, pass holders, Kings Island, July 11th to the general public. I thought it was the 12th, but okay. Lightning Rod is a lot more consistent now. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah, it looks like they've actually done a pretty good job with it. It was down today, rip. Will I ever do a Kahoot on one of these streams? It's something I've thought about. Um, I'm looking into like certain like streaming things, um, but we'll see. Probably not anytime soon. And actually, speaking of streams, I will be doing one next week, but don't be surprised if I announce like something that I'll be doing this like once every 2 weeks, because it could come to that at this point. Why did Dumpster Coasters leave so early? Probably he probably had something else to do. So, like that stuff happens. Coast Rider is to Coaster Hour as Green Lantern First Flight is to Airtime Thrills. Well, yes and no because I am still willing to ride Coast Rider, only for the sake of a review, possibly though. You're right. The 12th through the 11th for passes. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Um, let's see. Coaster Bots Kahoot stream didn't work because of bots. Oof. You mean every fortnight? Wait, I'm confused. Oh, for the every yeah. I mean, I've ridden Green Lantern, and I did not ride it at its like absolute peak or its absolute like worst. But yeah, that ride, not good. It's just kind of stupid. Probably like the coaster that like felt the least like a coaster that I've ever ridden. Which, I mean, it doesn't really feel like a roller coaster. It's just kind of weird. It's really stupid. My ride, I think I got like literally, uh, two flip, two and a half or like two flips. It wasn't very exciting. It just felt stupid and it was kind of uncomfortable. So yeah, coaster bot during the stream. Look at all those coaster bots. I wasn't. I don't think I was there for that. So because I was there for part of this stream, but not the whole thing. If you're referring to the big one he had a while back. All right. So 6:45. Um, I shoot. There's like quite a few things I have to get to. But it's okay, I guess. All right, I guess I'll do my second set of trivia questions. Yikes, maybe. There's something I maybe shouldn't have said. I'm looking at these. No, I think everything's fine. All right. So, yeah, no. Why would that be a problem? That would only be a problem if I were doing trivia for like myself and my channel, which I'm not. So this will be the final set of trivia questions. Like I said, two sets of four for today. So with that said, let's get to the first question. What was the name of the first Vekoma coaster that was built in North America? I'll say that again. What was the name of the first Vekoma coaster that was built in North America? Yeah, let's see. Did I do shoutouts yet? No, not quite. I know I'm going to get to that. Because we have a few for this week. Boomerang, not quite. Man, I'm surprised no one's gotten it yet. Has no one gotten it yet? I hope I didn't mess up with this. I'll look up, make sure real quick that I didn't mess up because somehow I guess no one's gotten it. I'm pretty sure I have this right. That would not be good if I got my got the trivia wrong. That would not be good. Not at all. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let's see. No one's gotten it yet. I'm surprised. Boomerang at it's Six Flags Mexico. No, it's actually not. I'll just make sure by looking up the opening date of Boomerang. Yeah, I got it. I absolutely want to make sure that I got this right because if I didn't, I'm gonna be like so mad. Let's see. No, yeah, it's right. Yeah, no one's gotten it yet, but it's right. It's definitely right. Uh, have people still making fun of me with how I pronounce Vekoma. Let's see. I think someone got it. Yes, Eric Thomason got it. Super Manege, or as Coaster Studios calls it, the Nicki Minaj. Yes, at LaRon. It opened in 1981 and closed in 2019 and will be replaced with, of course, V-Pair, which is, I don't know how you could possibly get worse than Super Manege, but LaRon is really trying. They are absolutely trying their hardest to outdo Super Manege. Oh, I just thought about it. The pair is snake themed. If they chose the wrong snake, they should have done they should have themed it to an anaconda. That would make it literally the perfect replacement for Super Manege, or now, yeah, Nicki Minaj. Uh, I don't know. That was just kind of stupid, but yeah. The Ronde is such a bad park. Yes, I've heard a lot of terrible things about it. The pair over Iron Quasi. Oh my god. Yeah, no, definitely not. Yes. LaRon seems so bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. Has anyone on the stream actually ever said it was good? I'm trying to remember because like I've had like unpopular opinions and like does anyone actually think this thing is good? See you, Coaster Mania. Thank you for being on the stream. I haven't heard anyone say that LaRon is actually good. Wait, I haven't even gotten to the other questions. I should probably do that. All right. Sorry about that. For my second question, this is what is the name of the tallest coaster in Russia? I'll say that again. What is the name of the tallest coaster in Russia? Oh man, let's see. I don't know if this will be an easy one or a hard one. I'm preparing for either, I guess. Lightning? No. Quantum Leap at Sochi Park is the correct answer. Eric Thomason got it again. and I'm not doing the one that's there. I believe might be one that's under construction. I think that will be taller. I'm pretty sure there is. I think they're actually getting the Saturn. I think. Pretty sure they're getting it. The Intimate Accelerator that used to operate at Space World. Let me look real quick. Yeah, they are getting it. That'll be the tallest. It'll be 205 feet. Meat processing plant roller coaster is yes, just beautiful. Let's see. All right. So for the third question, I have, what is the name of the first coaster premiere rides ever built outside of the United States? I'll say that again. What is the name of the first roller coaster premiere rides ever built outside of the United States? I'll accept multiple answers for this. Do I need to repeat that question again? No, it was not Skyscream. What is the name of the first coaster premiere rides ever built outside of the United States? So, yeah. You don't know any rides at foreign amusement parks. Alright, Coaster Dave got it right. It is Mad Cobra. Well, actually, Mad Cobra is the former name, but like I said, I would take either. And this, it's now called Crazy Cobra, but it was originally called Mad Cobra, and this was a LIM launch coaster that is pretty much an outdoor Flight of Fear clone, like Joker's Jinx and Poltergeist. And it originally opened in 1998 at oh no, Suzuka Circuit. Probably totally butchered that. I gotta try. In Japan, and closed in 2003, where it was then relocated to Discoveryland in China and reopened in 2006 under the name Crazy Cobra that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah. I thought I hit my mic for a second. That would have been bad. Crazy Cobra's pacing is insane, really? I mean, that's good. I mean, I would hope that it's not, like, a worse. Although, since it's relocated, you know, it could be, but apparently, I guess it's good. I haven't actually seen a POV of it recently, so I wouldn't know too much about that. Alright, so for my final question, this is, what is the name of the oldest operating park in Finland? I'll say that again. What is the name of the oldest operating park in Finland? So let's see who gets this first. Another one that I don't know if it's too hard or too easy. Eric Thomason got it right. I guess too easy. Linnanmäki is the oldest operating park in Finland. I guess there's really only a few like options you would think of unless it was something totally bizarre. But this park, it's like one I didn't really like. It's kind of been on my radar because of Taiga, but now looking more into it, there's like a lot more to it. I should have mentioned this park. It opened in 1950, but this park, their coaster collection, they have 7 of them, and it's pretty unique. Their coaster collection. They have I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it, but they have a custom indoor Zero Force coaster. Or family coaster that features virtual reality, not so great, but it's inside of a water tower, which is really weird. So that's interesting. They also have a Mauer spinner called Salama. May have butchered that. They have the world's only Mack Rides E-Motion coaster that uses a spring suspension mechanism that makes the car, I guess, rock side to side, which is really weird. There used to be another one in a church that no longer exists. So this is the only one left. They also have a side friction wooden coaster that is a slightly taller, longer, and faster version of Rouge Banon at Bakken, which is pretty interesting. They also have Uko, which is a Mauer Skyloop. Kernu, the original Intamin Zack Spin, that's apparently good. And it also has a different layout than Green Lantern. And they, of course, have Taiga, the Intamin Blitz coaster, that's said to be absolutely amazing. So, yeah. 3 worthwhile parks in Finland: Linnanmäki, PowerLand, and what's the I'm totally why am I forgetting one? Let's see. what am I forgetting? I'm like having a brain fart here. What's the other park in Finland? Um, that's notable. I feel like I'm gonna feel like a fool when I actually like when someone tells me. Linnanmäki, PowerLand. Oh, Sarkanemi. Okay. Is that it? Uh, I already said PowerLand. PowerLand got Pitt Special, which is a terrible name. The coaster looks kind of cool. Yeah, I probably totally butchered that. Alrighty, so now let's see. Things I want to discuss about. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna bring these into the chat real quick. So I was trying to tell people, I guess, before, and if you looked at my community post, you would know about this, but I was asking if the bird flight, this is a ride I've actually experienced um, before. I need to put, I guess, both um, links here. So I do not consider this to be a roller coaster. The park considers it to be more of a zip line, but 404 not found. Really? What the heck? Oh, probably because. Okay, hold up. I'll fix that real quick, and I just left the stream. On this stream chat. Yeah, I'll fix that one link. Don't worry. Um, it should. I have two of them because they kind of showed two different things. Yeah, Hunter had his birthday on what is it? Wednesday. He hit 1,000 subscribers before that. I need to get to that. But okay, so this coaster, I did a poll, a community poll, and not I didn't quite get the response I wanted because I wanted more people to vote because usually I have like 50, 60 votes, but only 27 for this one. 9 people actually thought that this was a coaster, and 18 others said no. So 33 to 67%. This ride is really, really weird. Or I don't even know if you can call it a ride. They call it like a zip line. It's not really a zip line. It's just like a weird thing. And the park it's at is even weirder. Like I said, I've ridden this. This is in Cancun at a park named Senses, which is senses with an X instead of an S. This place, it's one of those, I guess, amusement or theme parks in Cancun, which, if you don't know, they have these like amusement or theme parks. They don't really have actual rides per se, but they do have. Man, my hair is crazy. They do have like weird, like certain like different things to do. And this park, they have like you just have to look it up. It's called Zenses. I should have had a link or something. They have this thing. This uh, it's so hard to describe. But they have this like hill or thing that looks like it's a slope that's going up. It's a town that it looks like it's going up. But when you're walking up, you're actually walking down. Like it's really weird. You have to look this place up. I'll like type it out here if you haven't heard of it. I may do. Um, it's just a really weird place. They also have they have a water slide that actually leads into the bird flight thing that I'm talking about, and they also have a lazy river inside of a cave, pretty much. A salt water lake river, and then there's also a mud river you can do. Like I said, very strange. Not something you would see in the U.S. That's for sure, but a pretty interesting place. And that's where bird flight is. But I do not consider this ride to be a coaster. But it's pretty interesting because it has the wheels on the bottom and the top. Obviously, you do not go through an actual you. It doesn't. It's like a shuttle. It doesn't have, I guess, a full circuit. So or at least that you actually go through. So yeah. Did you just look at it? Yeah, it's a very weird ride. Or if you looked up the place, yeah, it's very weird. It's really cool though. Very pricey, but really awesome. If you're ever in Cancun, definitely recommend it. Zenses. I think I just went on about that. But yeah. All right. So I'm going to do my shout outs. I'm going to recognize the coaster YouTubers that hit their uh, goals for this week, or not goals for this week. They hit their milestones, and the first one is CoasterBot. Um, and he hit 50,000 subscribers. Pretty insane. He's going to be doing a live stream, I believe, on July 12th. So that's pretty awesome. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to him, make sure to, but I'm pretty sure at this point all of you are subscribed. Of course, Theme Park Hunting did hit 1,000 subscribers a few days before his birthday. So that's also pretty awesome. Definitely deserves it. And the Coaster Josh, he has been growing like crazy. He hit 1,000 subscribers this week, and yeah. Hard to imagine Harry not being a nice guy. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, yeah. I would definitely love to meet him at like a park in the future. That would definitely be something on my bucket list. If I were ever in the UK or at a European park, definitely something I would want to do if possible, for sure. All right, so I guess now because it's already 7, I'll also shout out the channels that are closer to our goals. Roller Coaster David, he is he is less than 10 subscribers away from 500 subscribers. He is so underrated. Like seriously, I mean it. If you haven't subscribed to him, check his channel out. It is really good. Like I said, super underrated. And then of course we also have Thrill Central. I've been on a few of his podcasts, and he is less than 20 subscribers away from 6,000 subs. So also make sure to subscribe to him if you haven't already, but 6,000 subs you probably have. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to any of these channels, definitely make sure to. Harry is a criminal. Uh, what in the world? Let's see. Oh my god. I'll have to look at that later. Yeah, I know. I could tell it was a meme just by looking at it. Why does my thing pause on here every time I go back? Alright, so I guess, let's see. Actually, I'm not doing bad on time because I just realized I only have the 2 sets of trivia questions. And I'm still planning to do this for like another hour, I think. Not quite hour, but 58 minutes. So anyways, I guess, yes, right, my questions for you guys. I've been doing this a lot in the more recent weeks. Um, wherever I need to sort this out better. Um, I really need to. Where are my questions for this week? I hope I didn't accidentally delete them. That would not be. Okay, here they are. All right, so obviously with Splash Mountain being rethemed, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite ride you have ridden that is now gone? That is pretty much defunct. It can be a coaster or a ride of another sort, but your favorite ride that you have ridden that is gone. So for me, in terms of coasters, there's really only 4 that I've ridden. Wait, not 4, 3. Actually, no, yeah, 3 of them that I've ridden that are now defunct, I guess, because there's a bunch that have been relocated. I almost consider those, but anyways, probably my most missed coaster is Roar. Actually, it easily is, because the only other 2 are Colossus, which I rode way past its prime, and it was not very good. And Minor Mike at Adventure Dome, which is a kiddie coaster. However, kind of sentimental because it was the first coaster I rode like outside of California, so kind of sentimental. But no, Roar would definitely be my favorite. A really fun ride, and I'm talking about the one at Discovery Kingdom. In terms of rides overall, though, I would have to say the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror at Disney's California Adventure. Pretty unfortunate that it had to close. Guardians is a good replacement, I will admit, but yeah, that ride definitely one I miss a lot. I haven't ridden it since like 2012, but I remember it so well. Really awesome ride, and I can't wait to go to Hollywood Studios and experience the one there because I've heard it was actually better than the one at California Adventure. So hopefully it stays the same. And we can count rethemes too. I guess you could kind of count Pandemonium at Discovery Kingdom, even though I've ridden it at Six Flags Mexico as Joker, but I actually like it better as Joker, so, yeah. Colossus, I rode it way past its prime and I did not like it. I also only rode it backwards, so probably not the best experience for it at all. Yeah, Colossus in its prime, it seemed really good, but I like literally rode it in its like last year of operation. It was not very good, to be completely honest. Would have loved to ride it in its prime. Apocalypse at Six Flags America is kind of the only ride I've ridden that is gone, but you can't even consider it gone if trains are different. Well, if you consider that, then I guess so. Dragon Challenge, yeah, that one's pretty sad for sure. Luigi's Flying Tires, not one I've heard too often. I never rode it, so wouldn't I guess have anything there. But that's pretty interesting, so I can respect that. Shockwave at Magic Mountain, really? How do I like Goofy's Sky School? When I rode it for the first time when I was a lot younger, I actually really liked it for some reason. It was like one of my favorite rides in the entire Disneyland Resort. And I rode it again in 2018, and it was like on and off the entire day. It was like it was a crazy day at California Adventure because rides were like just opening and closing like nothing. It was crazy, which was very weird in the middle of the summer. But I rode Goofy's Sky School, and every break it seemed like was on to was it was like trimming at its absolute hardest, because like it was just really weak, the pacing, and it wasn't really all that intense. And the final break literally felt like a car crash, but in like the worst way. It was like so powerful. I think it closed not too long after that. And it did not feel good. I don't know. I have mixed opinions on Goofy's Sky School. I think I got a really bad ride on it, like probably one of the worst rides you could ever ask for on that sort of coaster. Uh, but still better than Coast Rider, even on its best days. So yeah. Oh, Goofy is better by a mile. It's not even close. See you, Eric Thomason. Thank you for being on the stream once again, and a great job on the trivia. We're getting a lot of them right. Did Goofy's Sky School close? I No, it has not closed. At least not to my knowledge, it has not. Think I would have heard about it. Flying Falcon at Hershey Park. Ooh, that's one that looked cool. Yeah, I would could see that. If you count California Screamin', then that would be yours. Yeah. And there's also a kiddie coaster that stopped traveling around my local fair that you rode. Ah, that's a rip. California Screamin'. I mean, I guess I'd kind of count that. From what I've heard, it's better. I think it's from what I've heard, it was better than an Incredicoaster. But I've only ever ridden an Incredicoaster, which I mean, as far as rethemes go, I don't think they really did that amazing of a job with it. It's just they you can really can't. I don't think. I think they could have kept the same. But well, it's just kind of I guess how it is. As Disney, they're gonna try to tie things into their more relevant movies. That's kind of why. Yeah, I heard the soundtrack was amazing. So, yeah. How long has Flying Turns at Knoebels been closed? Has it actually been closed for that long? I didn't know. Um, I mean, it did literally take like 6 or 7 years to build, so not too surprised if it closed recently. I haven't heard of it though, so I don't know if that actually happened. Ooh, okay, here's my second question. What is the longest wait you have ever waited in? Or the longest line you've ever waited in? How long was it? For me, I think some of you might think I'm crazy, but I'll explain that I usually go to parks in the middle of the week, or if I go in the summer, or I go during the off season because I live in California. But the longest line I ever waited in was about like 2 hours for Radiator Springs Racers when I was younger. So about 2 hours, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty close. I Revenge of the Mummy. I had to wait like an hour and a half, I think, for once. It was um, yeah, 3.5 hours for X. Their times are not nearly as bad as I was expecting. Like I was expect about 2 hours and 45 minutes for King Ka. Yeah, that makes sense. 3.5 hours for X. Yeah, there was one day it was like X2. It was like on one of the days where Fright Fest was happening, and it had one train ops, and it was like a 3+ hour line. I'm like, nope, definitely not. So yeah, Gold Striker 1 hour. Dang, that's pretty good. All things considered. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah, and also I usually sometimes when I go to new parks, I usually get fast passes unless I go on a day that I know will most likely be dead or I feel like I won't need it. Um, Banshee on opening day 2014 waited 3.5 hours for my first ride. I mean, opening day, I'm pretty sure I'll probably go to one eventually, and that'll probably easily break the record. I guess none of us have been on Hagrid's. 90 minutes for laugh track, yeah. Oof. Laugh track was, I think, the longest wait for me at Hershey Park, besides Sky Rush, and it's, I guess, for the front row, which I don't know what I was thinking back then. I mean, I really do wish I did get a back row ride on it. I'm pretty mad that I didn't. It's still an amazing ride, but that would have been something to try out for sure. 3.5 hours for Flight of Passage. Yeah, I could see that. Ninja 3 hours when it was new. Ninja at Magic Mountain. That was a while ago. If that's what you're talking about. Or St. Louis. Miguel, which one? Ninja at Magic Mountain or at St. Louis? I imagine probably Magic Mountain. But yeah, new rides, that would probably be why. Radiator Springs Racers was relatively new, and I went on like a weekday, and it was still like, yeah. El Toro's Lift Hill, another GP said we're higher than the King to Ka. Oh man. um, let's see. You went to California's Great America Winterfest on Saturday, December 16, 2017, and it was packed. Yeah, those holiday events, they can be pretty packed. Fright Fest at Magic Mountain, oh my goodness. Going on a Saturday, never again. That is insane. Oh my god, that was. I actually, there was this one day, it was insane. Like trying to walk through crowds, it was, it was nuts. Somehow, I guess X2 it was down for a decent portion of the day I went, and I went to ride it like a little bit after it opened, and I got on like 20 minutes. It was like, oh my goodness, it's a miracle. Um, and then I'm pretty sure I got a much longer line later. Anyone here been to Magic Mountain December 30th, 2018? No. I don't even think I've ever been to Magic Mountain in December. January, yes. February, yes. Uh, I think March, I think I've been there on a day. Um, May, yes. June, July. I think June, July, August. Wow, I've actually been on a lot of months now that I think about it. October. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've done September. Uh, but wow, I've been quite a few months. But I guess that's just kind of how it is when you got a year on park. The day, yeah, that's the day Magic Mountain was at capacity. I could kind of tell. You waited a whole 0 minutes for Superman Ride of Steel. Yeah. Like Magic Mountain, if you go on like a totally dead day in like February or March, most of the things will be like walk-ons or like 5 to 10 minute waits. The only reason there's waits is because sometimes we're running one train, but like because there's literally like barely anyone there, so it kind of makes sense. Let's see. Flying Turns at Knobles is open. Um, because I went there last summer and waited 45 minutes to ride it. Yeah, I hadn't heard about it closing. Maybe I hope it's not closed for this year, but how things are going, we'll kind of see. So yeah. All right. So I guess for another question, so this is not coaster related, but for you guys, what are your favorite sports teams if you have them? They can be college, professional, but what are your favorite sports teams? So for me, my favorite professional sports team is the Atlanta Falcons. Um, I'm a big fan of them. I've actually been to two games. Of course, I did watch the Super Bowl back in 2017. That was absolutely dreadful to watch. Matthew's the Patriots fan, yeah. Michigan Wolverines. For college, I don't really like I'll watch it time and like every once in a while. I'll root for my local team, the Fresno State Bulldogs, and our team's actually pretty decent most of the time. Like we've been in the top 25 like at least a few times now in the last decade. So that's actually pretty cool. And and I also like Alabama a bit, just because quite a bit because Julio Jones came out of there, and so did Calvin Ridley, which are our team's two best receivers. So yeah, Chelsea. Oh, soccer. I think I'm not super familiar with soccer. I know nothing basically about MLB, um, NBA, and soccer teams. I only know football. That's pretty much it. So I if I like screw up something else, yeah. You don't care for sports. Yeah, makes sense. Most of your family are Steeler fans. My family's my mom's side of family, they don't have favorite like football teams because they're from Mexico. So well, I guess they do have favorite football teams, but like my cousin has a favorite soccer team, but I don't believe that they actually have favorite NFL teams. Uh, and on my dad's side, my grandfather is a Raiders fan. Not he's not like a diehard Raiders fan, I don't think. But yeah, Raiders fan. So kind of interesting. And my dad used to be a Raiders fan growing up. So yeah, Dodgers, Lakers, Raiders, and Trojans football. Yep. Raiders a little weird because most of those, obviously, all those teams are down south. Although Raiders were in LA at one point, and now they're in Vegas, so pretty crazy. Flying Turns is the only wooden bobsled coaster in the world. Yes, that is correct. I'm mad at Brady for abandoning New England like he did. I don't know about that. I honestly don't know if that's all gonna work for Tampa. Yes, their team's really good, but I don't know. There's so much hype around the Browns last year because of their roster, and they ended up with a losing record. So who knows what'll happen this year with football? I'm pretty sure a season will happen. Maybe a little delayed, but I'm like very certain that a season's going to happen. All right, so my the next question I have is, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. And this question is pretty interesting. If you could steal any coaster from an international country and bring it to your home country, because I don't know necessarily that all of you watching are from the U.S. But anyways, if you, I'll say that again. If you could steal any coaster from an international country and bring it to your home country, which coaster would you steal? For me, it would be Carnan, just because it would be something like very unique. Some people might think I'd pick Ejanica. We already have X2, so I would want something like really unique, and Carnan would definitely be like a totally new experience that we don't really have here. So yeah, Hakuge, yeah, that one I can understand too. It's very unique for an RMC. Football in Europe is spelled as football and is basically, yes, it's what we call soccer basically. Carnan looks like Cannibal on steroids. Yeah, I mean Cannibal's kind of similar, but you don't get that theming. You don't get the entire package or that entire experience. So, but Cannibal looks sick. I really want to ride it. And it's probably like my most anticipated West Coast coaster left. Um, just because like there's not really much else I think that I'm too excited for besides West Coast Racers. I'm pretty excited to ride eventually, and of course Jersey Devil Coaster. I mean, not Jersey Devil Coaster, the Jersey Devil Coaster clone that is gonna come. That is basically confirmed to eventually happen. Um, I mean, about as confirmed as you can get without it being official. Uh, Hakuge if it goes to Six Flags America Great Adventure or New England. I mean, we would just say it would go to your home park or wherever you find most convenient. Yeah, just put it there. Business, yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Or Wallaby Belgium Mega Coaster. Yeah, the Mega Coaster crossed my mind, but I wanted to stick with the ones that have that like I guess have been a decent. I thought about ones that are under construction, but that one's such a ways off that I just was kind of like, yeah, I'll go with Garden. Goliath at Six Flags Great America. So I assume you're not from the U.S. So wait, yeah. I could see that. That seems like a good pick. Wood coaster from Night Valley, maybe. Yeah, that coaster looks good. One of those Chinese GCIs, either Jungle Dragon, Viper, or Wood Coaster, uh, look really good. I could definitely see one of them. You are in the USA? Wait, then why do you say Goliath at Great Adventure? That's in the US? Or was that referring to something else? I say the Joker will be Jersey Devil clone. Yeah, it's probably gonna be Joker themed. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I know I said in that like one video I thought it might be Wonder Woman themed, but the Joker makes way more sense. It would be a new track color too, like for the park. At this point, I would take any steel coaster and put it in Hawaii. Yep, you're stealing Nagashima Spa Land in its entirety. Oh my goodness, that'd be a cool park. I don't know. It'd probably lose some charm though. I mean, it being in the U.S. Dinoconda. Yeah, I could see that. Why not Ejanica? Interesting. Well, I guess because if you're thinking about it, maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe you want to leave the parks with something good. Dinoconda, like the park it's at, they don't really have a whole lot, so like taking it away. I mean, it's kind of mean because they're taking away their flagship attraction, but it never was like a huge bucket list park to begin with. So I can kind of see that actually because Fuji Q Highland, like if you take out Ejanica, like there's still a lot of reason to go there, but uh, yeah, I could see that. I guess Karn that would be kind of bad because now Hansa Park. I mean, they have Fluke von Novgorod, but yeah, I don't know. Carrying that across the ocean will take way too many boats and airplanes. It's just a silly question. It's real. It's really. It's just a silly question. Okay, yeah. Stamford Bridge does bring up a good point. That Karnan and Tehran, a big part of the what makes those coasters special is that they're themed to those parks, or in the context of those parks. So that does kind of make sense. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Karnan, I think I would just take it anyways. Formula Rosa would be an honorable mention. Oh yeah, like there's some you might also think about because you're like, oh, am I gonna go here? Like there's certain parks where it's just like I don't know if I'm ever gonna go there. So yeah, I think I'll go. I think I'll go to the United Arab Emirates eventually, just because they're probably gonna get quite a bit of stuff there. You live in California, yeah, that would make sense because yeah, I like ask a lot of questions about California coasters and mention Coast Rider a lot. So yeah, makes sense. Um, you're gonna be like Yoda and use the Force. Like I'm not like don't think of the logistics of it. Like how would it get over there? Expedition G Force. I mean, yeah, it's one I considered, but I don't know. I would if I had to pick between that and the Wallaby Belgium coaster, I'd pick the Wallaby Belgium. And customs would take notice and throw you in prison. Yes, like this is not a realistic question. In the slightest. The only one that might be realistic is Kawasemi. If you pick that. Oh no, I can't. All right, so now let's see what else I have. Oh, okay, so podcasts. If you guys want to see me on more podcasts, or like on certain podcasts, that feature guests, I just had this like because I know some of you guys really enjoy me being on Coasters and Toasters, and we'll have the first episode of me being on Blue Fire Coasters podcast. It'll come out at some point. If you guys want to see me on other podcasts, like a big thing that would help me to get there is recommending or requesting me to whoever's doing a podcast. So like a DM or an email or something, but don't be too annoying about it if you do it. But if you want to see me in a new podcast or one you really like that features guests, requesting or recommending me to them would go a long way if you want to see me in more stuff like that. So just something I had written on here that I thought I should maybe throw out there if you guys want to see me in more stuff. Um, because they do take that into consideration, I think, quite a bit when it comes to requests. um, the YouTubers and people who do the coaster and theme park podcasts. So, and actually, let's see. Another thing, let's see. I have like a lot of things on here. Should I ask the other questions? I guess it's kind of like maybe like the downfall of having the trivia is like I had a set schedule mostly, and now it's kind of like all messed up because um, I did certain things different. I guess I'll ask the last two questions. No, wait, right. I'm supposed to open for Q&A. Yeah, all right. So you guys can ask me questions now. That's the thing I was meaning to do. Would I want to be in Talk and Trimless? If I had the opportunity to, absolutely. That would be, I think, really fun to do. Um, so yeah, that's definitely like really. I think any. I'm pretty sure I'd be cool with any of them, because they all seem pretty awesome. I haven't seen like a whole lot of them, but yeah. But most of the podcasts seem to be pretty good. Who would I want to do a collab with the most? Ooh, man, that is that is tough. Um, man, you know what? I think I would like to do one with Airtime Thrills the most. I think some people might find that a little bit surprising, but I think it'd be awesome because this was another thing I wanted to bring up in this I guess live stream. There's actually it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like large coaster YouTubers. Like even guys over 1K, the only ones I can think of off the top of my head are Airtime Thrills, Parks Bros, and Roller Coaster Crafter. Those are the only ones in California I can think of that are like actual coaster channels that have over 1,000 subscribers. As far as I know, besides like POV stuff, because I don't really count that. If there is any that are based in California, um, but I'd pick Airtime Thrills just because of like the California thing. I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I guess that would be my pick. Also, I think it would like a list video. I think it'd be pretty cool. It um it would be something really interesting for sure. If I could use the force, what would I use it for? Oh, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Roller Coaster Crafter makes connects coasters. He has I think over 3,000 subscribers. Yeah, Airtime Thrills. Like I said, mostly because of that. Parks Rose I'd be pretty cool with too. Like I said, I mean I'd be fine with anyone. The only problem is it's like I've had some people try to do collabs with me, and it's just I've had a hard time trying to actually get one going or doing one just because like a lot of times I'm like trying to do stuff with new software like right now. I'm still like figuring a lot of stuff out, which is why there hasn't been too many uploads lately. But I will be doing a Canimonium and Hershey's Chocolate Town analysis that will come out at some point this week. Even if it's a little late, I've been working on it for a decent while. Well, actually, not really. I like more tried to realize I was a little late on it, and so I kind of tried to try to get it together. So that's something that should come out this week. Like I said, it will be covering both Hershey's Chocolate Town, like the area itself, because I haven't seen too many people talk about it, and Canimonium. So definitely look forward to that. Have you heard about E-Tie Coaster Fanatics? Yes. I even, I think, suggested a week ago, not a week ago, a few weeks ago for milestones. He did reach 1,000 subscribers. I think over a month ago at this point. Um, but yeah, his channel is really awesome. If you haven't subscribed to E-Tie Coaster Fanatic, definitely make sure to. And it's yeah, I said it with an S because that was how it was written. Actually, I guess I'll leave a link here because why not? Not too hard for me to do. Hopefully that works. Okay, so if you want to subscribe to him, definitely make sure to. His channel is really good. Um, so, all right, let's see. Any other questions you guys have? Oh, actually, I haven't even read all of these. Uh, let's see. Would I ride a launch coaster that reaches speeds over 500 miles per hour if it existed? Well, if it was safe and didn't kill me, absolutely. Otherwise, wait, 500 miles per hour. I thought that said 500. No, nope, that would probably kill me. So, or kill any person. So probably not. If it was somehow safe, I'd be all for it. Theme Park ERT. Haven't watched that podcast too much. I've heard it's really good. I would definitely, but like I said, like I would be fine like being part of really I think any podcast. If you guys want me to be on any of them, like you can like recommend or request for it. Like I'm all for doing that. Um, so I know I'm trying to I think that's just it's something I've enjoyed doing and I want to like try some new ones if that's possible. Would you ride a coaster from a GP clickbait thumbnail? No. Um, absolutely not. Definitely not. Yeah, no. I would not do that. There are now 11 people watching the stream. Yeah, it's kind of went down. I think it tends to go down like the later it goes. So I think that's sometimes I end the stream at like 7:30. So yeah, it's like it kind of fluctuates. So that's just kind of how it is. All right. So if that is all the questions you have, I'll be going to asking you my last two questions. In what are oh wait, okay, we do have one. Oh, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Okay, I have ridden it. Unfortunately, I remember liking it. I remember thinking it was a cool ride, but I don't have a lot of memories of it because the last time I rode it, I was like 10. Um, but I think it's a pretty cool ride. I definitely hope it doesn't go anywhere. I have a feeling it probably will not survive much longer. I don't know. I just have a bad feeling they're gonna take it out because it's not exactly the most relevant ride anymore, and you literally go to hell. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool ride. Definitely one. I really want to go back to Disneyland before they retheme Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog because I want to have that before and after sort of experience. Because if I don't, I'd have to go all the way to Japan to ride a Splash Mountain. That's not Princess and the Frog. So I will probably make Mr. Toad's Wild Ride a priority just because I don't know how much longer it's going to be around. If I like, I just don't know, which is pretty sad. It seems like a really cool ride, and I actually enjoyed it, but I need to ride it again because I don't have the best memories of it. Um, oh, hello, Coaster Key. Welcome to the stream. Um, I saw a reaction video, and the person reacting said, "Oh my God, the track is disconnected. How is that safe? Is that for like a tilt coaster or like a or like did they like what video was this for? What ride? I'm curious. Let's see. At Coaster Key. Yeah, there are last rides for Splash Mountain. I did mention this earlier. Um, but that I did mention earlier that there will be last rides. I emailed them like wait, I think before they may have announced it, but I got an answer I think before they actually said anything public about it. At least as far as I'm aware. But yeah. You're worried that Leap the Dips will never reopen. Honestly, yeah, that I would be very worried about that because especially with the situation, yeah, not looking too good for them. I haven't heard any news or anything like that, or yeah, you're going to Walt Disney World to get your last rides on Splash Mountain. Like I said, I want to do it to get the before and after. If you weren't here earlier for that, I'm pretty optimistic for the Princess and the Frog re-theme. I think it'll be pretty cool. Definitely something I'm looking forward to, as the movie seems like it would. It seems like it would be a good IP to use for a ride, and I kind of wish they would have done a ground up one, but I think it should make for a pretty cool ride once it opens. But once again, I do want to get that last ride on Splash Mountain if possible, because otherwise that'll be pretty sad um, if I don't. It's after 10. Oh, because like yeah, the time stuff just like you already know if you're watching. Like the time stuff because a lot of you are on the East Coast. I always say like 7 something because Pacific time and obviously over there it's like 10. So, yeah. Just you guys are probably used to that at this point. Let's see. Um, oh wait, did I even ask my question? No, I didn't. All right. So, anyways, what is your favorite moment or element on any coaster? Mine is X2's first drop. I think I've mentioned it a few times already, but I mean, just falling face first is absolutely insane, and then flipping toward the end, absolutely crazy, especially in the back row. Just an absolutely incredible element, and definitely my favorite I've ever experienced. So, yeah. When is my birthday? July 31st. July 31st is my birthday. I will be turning 18. So, if you were wondering, that is when my birthday is. X2, the first drop, yeah. It's just so insane. What are my thoughts on those roundup rides? Oh boy. You see, when it comes to certain flat rides, I really don't know what they are, so I need to look this up. Oh, okay. So like this is kind of like what the Wonder Woman ride at Magic Mountain. I don't even remember its name. Uh, I think that's the style of ride it is. I've never ridden one. Probably will never because I don't think it's something I would like. Um, Maybe I'll give one a chance. Probably it might be a one and done for me, but I don't really have any thoughts on it. It just looks a little nauseating to be quite honest, but it also looks pretty intense. So, yeah. I guess that's my ideas of like my thoughts on that. 5 second airtime hill on Mako. Yeah, the airtime hill on Mako looks really good. Hard one, maybe El Toro's first drop. Yeah, that's one I've heard a lot. And the airtime hills right after that. Yeah, El Toro, like the first like few elements look absolutely insane. And of course the Rolling Thunder Hill also. El Toro's first drop, yep. Ejector airtime. I meant I should have mentioned this better. Specific element like a specific element on an actual ride is what I meant, not like a like I guess just a ride element like a name of it. Accelerators launch, yeah, that's pretty good. I can understand that. And hang times drop. Hang times drop is really good, but it's like I think there are definitely better ones out there. But from what you've written, I can see that for sure. Definitely one of the best first drops I think in California, I would say. But I actually think I'd prefer Fahrenheit's at Hershey Park, and I prefer that ride like just in its entirety more than Hang Time. Which I know, like some of you know that I kind of think Hang Time's kind of overrated. So yeah. The floater on Mako is awesome. Yeah, the floater on Mako looks really good. So, can definitely understand that being your favorite element for uh wait a minute. Who said that? Oh, Coaster Key. Yeah, I can understand that. Your favorite coaster element is Twisted Colossus's Top Gun stall. That's one of my favorite inversions of all time. So definitely can understand that. I don't know that I don't think it's my favorite, but it's definitely one of them. It's really good. I don't even know that it's my favorite element on Twisted Colossus, but if if the green side didn't have that Top Gun stall, then my ranking of Twisted Colossus would be so much lower because the green side it just disappoints me every time. The Top Gun stall is like the real highlight moment of that side because the majority of the other moments are just nothing that spectacular. Airtime hills, specifically what airtime hill? I guess the lift. Oh, the lift hill and first drop on Skyrush. Yeah, I can understand that for sure, especially in the back row. Yeah, also Coaster Lover said that also Skyrush. Skyrush's first drop in the back row. The outward bank turn on Steel Vengeance. I think it's overrated, so definitely not. And Top Thrill Dragster's launch. Yeah, also that one's really high up there for me. Stormrunner's launch. Not as good as Top Thrill Dragsters in my opinion, but still really good. Montu's Batwing, haven't experienced it. Manta's Pretzel Loop. Tatsu's Pretzel Loop is pretty high up there as well. That moment is insane. It's not floater, it's lifter. Lifter airtime. Yeah, that's what most people I think refer to it as. Yeah. I think Itai also said it was a lifter hill. I thought someone opened the door. I was like so confused for a second. Let's see. No lifter is the alternative name for Flowjector. Yes, it is the alternative name, but some people say the one airtime hill on Mako is lifter airtime. That's what most people say. Some people say floater, some people say lifter. Um, so yeah. I also like Gold Striker's laterals. Yeah, Gold Striker has some pretty good laterals. So you can definitely see that. All right, 20 minutes here. So my last question to you guys is, um, ooh, yes. Okay, this is inspired by 808 Coaster Life's. I guess it's not his most recent video because he did the really awesome looking Gerstlauer Infinity coaster concept that you guys should check out after this. But his video on coaster models, I guess, that we want to see more of. That video was really good. And so my question to you guys is, or coaster concepts, I should say. It was coaster concepts. Really good video. Highly recommend it if you haven't watched it already. But my question for you guys is, what coaster model do you want to see more of? I'll say that again. What coaster model do you want to see more of? It could be one that hasn't been built yet, or it could be one that we've already seen and you just want to see more of. For me personally, it's the Mack Hyper Coaster. I especially want to see some in the US. They look so good and so unique, so different. Especially DC rivals, but even the Flash clones look really awesome. So definitely the Mack Hypers for me. For me, B&M Hypers are the definition of floater. Never ridden a B&M Hyper, so I can't really say anything on that. Um, which is crazy. I've ridden literally 13 different B&Ms, 14 if you consider Vortex as a different ride from Patriot. I don't, and none of them are B&M Hypers, so pretty crazy. I'll be the first to say Intamin Prefab. Okay, so with that one, I definitely want to see that one more, but I mean, they're pretty decently spread out. We have one in the US, there's two in Europe and one in Asia. Like, we could have more for sure, but it's not like the Mach Hypers, one in Australia, one in China, one in Europe. I guess that's a decently spread out, but we don't have one in the Americas, so yeah. A Mach Hyper, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, 808 Coaster Life, don't spoil it. If you want to know 808 Coaster Life's answer, watch his video because he obviously says it there. SNS El Loco. That one's pretty interesting. There's, I think, a decent amount of them already, but I could see that. Definitely a unique answer. RMC T Rex. That would be up there, but the problem is I think that thing's kind of shelved. So, and I mean, we haven't actually seen, I guess, a layout of it, a true layout. So that's kind of why I'm straying away from that one. You would like to see the B&M stand-up make a comeback. Interesting. Some people really like those. I really like Riddler's Revenge, and Vortex was awful when it was a stand-up. So, and I mean Vortex like Great America. So, um, kind of a mixed bag there, but it could be interesting. Corkscrew at Cedar Point sucks. Yeah, it's not my favorite ride. The one airtime hill is pretty sick, but the rest of the ride is not good. So, I like the one airtime hill, but the rest of the ride is just uh, not very good. I mean, the ride would, I think, honestly be better if it were literally just that one airtime hill. Of course, it wouldn't have the historical significance. I'm saying from a ride experience standpoint. If it was just that one airtime hill and that's it, and it just comes back to the station, I'd probably like it more. I mean, it hurts leaning back in your seat from it, but I don't know. I really like that airtime hill for some reason, but the rest of the ride, not so good. Skyrush was almost a mock hyper. I mean, I'm not getting too upset with what we got instead, so yeah. Although maybe if that happened, there might be more mock hypers in the U.S. Who knows? I like some Lek coasters in the States. Oh yeah, for sure. Basically, any new Vekoma coaster would be amazing. I think. Like that's definitely something I would love to see. Actually, we kind of have a new Vekoma that like If you guys don't know, there's this park in Riviera Maya, Mexico, called Amicu, and if it will open or not, it's kind of like who knows. But in the concept art recently, there was this coaster that looked like a newer Vekoma coaster, and Vekoma is a ride supplier, so I guess if North America, um, it might be the first new Vekoma coaster to come to North America. Amiku might be going to Amiku, which is a park in Riviera Maya. You guys have probably never heard of it, most of you. Um, but it's being built right now. Well, actually, it's the construction hasn't happened for a while, so who knows if it'll even actually be built. But that might be the first park, depending on how long we have to wait. That'll get a newer Vekoma coaster, which is kind of sad, but because it'll be a while if that thing even opens at all. Intamin Giga, not Red Force. Yeah, I could totally. I would love to see more Intamin Gigas. Screamin' Squirrel, those rides don't look that good, so definitely not something I would want. Anaconda at King's Dominion also sucks. Yeah, it does not look good at all. More Giga coasters with a cable lift system on the lift hills. Pretty interesting. Sansei owns SNS and Vekoma, but SNS is for North America and Vekoma is for Europe/Asia. Yeah, no, but the one in Mexico, that's a bit. They're getting a well, I guess it's not absolutely confirmed that it's this coaster specifically is from Vekoma, but Vekoma is listed as a supplier, and this ride definitely looks like one of them. Also, the stats like were pretty similar to a Vekoma Shockwave. The ride would travel at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour, which I think exactly lined up to like 62.1 miles per hour, which is the same as like the top speed I think of the I might be wrong on that, but I'll just look it up real quick. Yeah, it's like literally exact. The new Vekoma coaster or the new coaster they had in concept art that came out recently, weirdly enough, even though the park hasn't really had much progress of construction. 62.1 miles per hour, which is the same speed of a Vekoma Shockwave, but the height was the one weird thing that kind of threw me off because it said it was going to be 35.5 meters, which equals 116 feet, which is 10 feet shorter than the other Vekoma Shockwaves. And also, some of the elements looked a little off, but of course, it was concept art and it looked really weird. So, who knows? But it was like literally 10 feet off from the Shockwave. So, I wonder if they messed up with the, with the I guess, dimensions of the ride. Because, like I said, that 62.1 miles per hour, which is oddly specific, is exactly the same as the Shockwave. The plans for that Mexican park looks very ambitious. Almost, yeah. I mean, I hope it happens because it looks insane, but I don't know. I don't know that it'll happen. I would not bet on it right now because construction has not happened in a good while, which is sad. All right, so I've gone through all my questions. Well, my questions that I had written out, but I might do like a one last thing that, for discussions, I guess. Ooh, actually, yes. Okay, so for me, if you guys have been to Florida, if any of you are from Florida or have been to Florida, um, I've never been, obviously, and a trip to Florida seems pretty daunting. What are like maybe, like, from your experience, or maybe just some thoughts you would have? Um, I guess also this is a Q and A thing, so if you guys want to ask questions, you can. But for Florida, like if you have been, what would you I guess what would you suggest someone who's going for the first time would do when it comes to going to new parks or going to parks? What would be like your game plan for that, or what would be something you would try to do if you were supposed to go to Florida or you were going to? Because for me, I don't think it's really possible to go to all the Florida parks in like one Florida visit. I just seems like because of the cost and everything, like let's see, three Universal parks if you include Epic Universe whenever that opens, but we'll just say for right now two Universal parks, four Disney parks, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld Orlando, and you have the Fun Spot parks. Like that's just yeah, it's pretty daunting. Um, I think it would have to be a two-trip thing. Like, I think one time you'd have to go to the Disney World Resort and the Universal Resort is how I think it would work out for me. And maybe you could lump in, and maybe you could just go to SeaWorld and the other parks like Busch Gardens, although that one's a little out of the way. You can probably go to those, uh, but twice. That would probably be what I would do. But yeah, pretty crazy. Thoughts on Silver Bullet? I think okay. Outside of Batman the Ride, which I haven't ridden in a while, so it may not even. I think that Silver Bullet is my least favorite invert I've done. It is fun, but it is definitely not as intense as pretty much all the other ones I've ever ridden. Of course, I've ridden Batman the Ride, Great Bear, which is also on the less intense side out of the stuff I've ridden. And of course, I've ridden Flight Deck and Raptor, which are all like really intense. So uh, it's the least intense. It's still really fun. Night rides, especially, are great. But it's just, it's a pretty good ride, but it's not anything that amazing. It's not even in my uh, top 30. I think it's like top 35 for me. But it's still a fun ride. Definitely like one I always ride whenever I'm at Knott's Berry Farm. What if Planet Fitness made a roller coaster that requires you to work out on a stationary bike in order to move the train up the lift hill? That would be weird. The anti rollback better be good for that. That's all I gotta say. That would be weird. That would be crazy. That'd be like they would have the worst capacity ever. But if it were for a smaller park, I'd be like, or I guess on top of a Planet Fitness building because why not? I mean, actually no, because the layout would be super short. If there's one like near a park or something where they have the land, I guess they can build it around there or something. It's daunting to me too. My first trip I did just a fun spot, SeaWorld, Orlando, and Busch. Whoa, okay, so you didn't even do the either of the resorts. I mean, I can understand why. And even for me, like the problem is that some of these places that have like all these parks and all this stuff to do, I want to do other things. Like for Florida, I might like I also want to do the Florida Aquarium in Tampa and the Kennedy Space Center. So I guess I'd have to kind of lump that in there too, on separate trips. Like I said, I'd probably do two trips to Florida instead of trying to do it all in one go. Yeah, I really like theming, and I do like theme parks, so I do really want to make sure I go to the Universal and Disney World parks. However, I think I might be able, like, because I have Disneyland, I think I might be able to lump in Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios in one day because I would probably only do the unique rides at both parks. Like, why would I like Galaxy's Edge? I don't really see why I would do it if I already have it here in California. But I would do rides like Tower of Terror, Slinky Dog Dash, and I would probably do a few of like the rides we have in Disneyland at Magic Kingdom just to see like how they're different. But I think I could lump like those two parks into one day, assuming I didn't go on like a weekend or something, which would be a terrible idea, anyways. Yeah, Florida is fun, but Orlando is a textbook definition of a tourist trap. Definitely heard of it. Go to Disney and Universal on more dead days. Absolutely. Spend the end of your days at Fun Spot if you can. Finish off of SeaWorld Orlando or Busch Gardens Tampa. Uh, yeah. Actually, I mean, could you not just do like lump in Fun Spot, like just like maybe leave a Disney park a little earlier and or well for one of them leave a Disney park a little earlier just so you can do Fun Spot and for Universal like leave I guess Universal Studios Florida because I don't see that really being a full day park but I definitely see Islands of Adventure being one. You could probably like just do Universal Studios Florida, leave a little early, and then hit up Fun Spot and also the Star Flyer that's like nearby. I think that's doable. Or even like SeaWorld Orlando, I think you could lump in SeaWorld Orlando, Fun Spot at night, assuming it's open like till 12, and maybe that Star Flyer at night. Like the Star Flyer, I'm only doing it if it's at night. But yeah, Thunderhead, very rough but awesome. Do you know about Ozark Wildcat? Oh yeah, I actually almost I was like thinking of doing a video about it way back when, like in the early days of my channel. Um, I was like thinking of doing a like sort of a defunct coaster series, I guess, that kind of transformed into the Coasters of State series, and Ozark Wild Cow was gonna, I think, be the first one I was gonna do. Or no, was it? I think some of them were gonna be defunct coasters, and other ones were gonna be weird coasters. I was also thinking of doing a lost coaster video, but yeah. To do Universal and Disney right in Florida, it seems as if each one requires close to a week. Really? I don't know about that. Like the other thing is, do you go on? What's the best time to visit? Do you go in the summer where all the rides are probably going to be open, but you're gonna have to deal with crowds, but you'll have the longer hours as well, or do you go like toward like some of the dead or like off season months where you may have to risk certain rides being closed, and of course there'll be shorter hours, but there'll be much less wait. You'll wait a lot less, and it'll probably be cheaper because the parks less people going, and they're gonna try to get people to go by decreasing the prices. It's kind of interesting, like just the kind of idea of it. Um, it's just pretty interesting. Also, Japan. Oh God, that one's also daunting to me because there's so much I want to do in Japan besides the parks, but there's a decent amount of parks I also want to visit. So it's just like wow, that one Japan's pretty much Florida, but like amped up to 11 for me in terms of like other stuff I want to do and uh, doing the parks. Uh, if you're wanting to do any Disney or Universal parks, you might have to deduct a park or two in Orlando. Oh yeah, I'm like maybe I wouldn't do like maybe the fun spot parks like depending on like um yeah, it could happen. Like I may have to deduct a park or two in Orlando. Yeah, I could see that. I mean I would do the entire resort if I were there. For either one of them, but definitely not both in one go. I don't think. I arrived in the evening and comfortably did both fun spots. Really, in one evening. Wow, that's pretty nuts. Did SeaWorld Orlando the next day and Busch Gardens Tampa the next day. Well, that's a pretty short trip, but I mean, for some people, that's what they want. I do more, I guess. Even though I haven't done coaster trips, like multiple parks in one trip. I've done multiple places in one trip, so I can tend to go a little longer than just a few days. Is it possible to jinx somebody by thinking it, or is that just when I say it? I think you have to say it. Japan is at least kind of compact. A coaster trip to China is really daunting because it's just endless parks forever. Oh, China also, there's like pretty interesting stuff there to do outside of parks. That also is like, ooh, I don't know. And also, I don't know how prices for that work because there's so many parks, but some of them literally have like one or two good coasters and that's it. So it's like, yeah. If you want all the rides guaranteed to be open, then going sometime in the summer would probably be the best way to go. Summer probably isn't nearly as busy. Yeah, the holidays don't. I'm not even. No. Christmas break is an absolute no. That is just like there's no way I would do that. At all. The only oh yeah, and then also throw in the thing I also kind of want to do. Actually, I really want to do Halloween Horror Nights at some point. So ooh, and I know that's a busy time of year for Universal. So man, it's like it's pretty tough. Um, like Florida is just crazy. Boardwalk Bullet looks so good. Yeah, Boardwalk Bullet, it looks really good. All right, so we've hit 8 o'clock. I will not. I guess I'll be here for a few more minutes. I think 8:05 is when I'm gonna try to wrap it up. So I'm just gonna give you guys heads up. I've actually been planning an Osaka to Tokyo trip, planning in extra time to see Kyoto and an extra time for Tokyo. That's a good idea. I think. I think for me, for like a Japan trip, I think I'd just hit like the big parks. Like honestly, I think in one trip, the Tokyo Disney Resort, which I see as a 2 day thing, with 1.5 days at Tokyo Disney Sea and half a day at Tokyo Disneyland, because I have Disneyland literally in like 4 hours from me. Universal Japan, probably for one day. Uh, Fuji Q definitely would have to be 2 days just because of the hours and also weather and just everything. Um, and I probably if I were doing like Tokyo and Osaka, I probably would not include Nagashima, and then I'd probably hit up like the smaller Tokyo parks like Tokyo Dome City and Yomuri Land, and Tokyo Joypolis, and probably would call it there. That if I don't know if that's too insane, but that's something I'd probably like I could see myself doing, but adding an extra time in Osaka and uh, Tokyo. That would be definitely over a week if I were to do that. But yeah, it's just pretty daunting for sure. How much watch hours do you get from these streams? I don't look at it that much. I don't really do this for. I just do this because I want to do it, and I know you guys enjoy it. So yeah, how could you skip Nagashima? Hakuge, like the problem is, like okay, I'm not saying I would have to go back at some point because it's just inevitable. Maybe I would be able to lump it in there. Maybe it's not as difficult as it seems. But the problem is that's another one I see as a 2 day park because I also want to do the mall. Although I guess it's open at night, but I forget if I don't think the hours are like very good there either. So it's just like I don't know. Um, it's just yeah that's tough. Also, um, from what I've learned from the Coaster Studios trip, I would definitely do my absolute best to avoid holiday weekends. Like it would just be insane. I think you could do all the major parks in 2 weeks. Three would be better. Oh, I think you could. Like if you lumped in like the parks with those bucket list coasters. Um, but do I? But here's the thing: is I think I actually want to have like a more than like a day or two just to do like stuff, uh, non park stuff, in other cities. Like I didn't want more than a day or two, like maybe 3 or 4 more. I like maybe that's asking for too much. I would like when I actually maybe get to actually doing that, which I have no clue when that'll happen. Probably not anytime soon. It'll definitely be like reality will probably hit, and I'll be like, okay, this is attainable, this is attainable, and there might be some things to cut out. It's just interesting to kind of think about. Nagashima looks like the best park in Japan. Fuji Q has absolutely no airtime based rides. I mean, they have Ichinaiko, which is my most anticipated coaster, so they're good enough for me. Fujiyama looks pretty good though. I mean, um, Fujiyama looks really good. It looks so weird, but it looks so good. I think I'm gonna love that ride. I actually kind of have high expectations for it, but yeah. Alrighty, so I guess any last questions you have, ask them right now, and if nothing really comes up, I'm gonna end the stream in about 2 minutes. Yeah, I know it's not airtime based, but I'm just saying that like it's super high on my bucket list, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, Nagashima Spa Land, I'm gonna be totally honest. Besides Hakuge, I mean, Steel Dragon, that's a cool ride, but uh, yeah, the expenses and stuff. I haven't even done like my own trip or something like by myself, so it's like that's way into the future. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to think about for sure. Um, yeah, like that's gonna be pretty wild. Uh, like when I get to those sort of trips. Um, but let's see. Any like I said, any last questions? And if not, um, I'm just gonna wrap the stream up pretty quick. I think I was saying Hokuge is really the only elite right at Nagashima, the only one that's like really like super high on my bucket list. Steel Dragon's like pretty cool, so it's also I guess kind of high on my bucket list, but it's not really anything that crazy. And I guess you have Arashi, which that one's just like one I'm really interested in. But other than that, I don't know. But the atmosphere seems pretty cool. Like the whole park and the whole area seems like really awesome. So yeah. Alrighty, looks like no one has anything left. So with that said, thank you all for watching. And oh wait, someone does have something. Steel Dragon is very long, but it's 3 minutes of lift hill. Yeah. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour, as I will have a live stream next week. However, do not be surprised if I at some point make these once every 2 weeks. But yeah, have a good night, and thank you all for watching.